Hello everyone, Ethersong here. Information on the new class coming to Blue Protocol later this month has been revealed. The name of the class is Beat Performer, and it wields a guitar as a weapon. With its guitar, the Beat Performer is able to use a variety of support skills like healing and debuffs. Let's first look at its main attacks and class actions. Its main attack hits 3 times up close and then hits 1 more time at a range. Its class action is able to place an amp on the field. Its cooldown is low and can quickly be repositioned. Its range depends on level and can be placed quite far away. The amp responds to players' attacks and skills, causing area attacks and skills to trigger at its location. By attacking or using skills directly on the amp, the effect is further increased. The Beat Performer's side attack is an area attack. Its back attack gives a buff to increase the class gauge while performing a ranged attack. Its forward attack is a ranged light attribute attack. Holding down the attack button charges up an area attack. The amp duplicates attacks even if placed far away. Next, let's look at the class's tactical skills. The Bind Rock skill releases a sound wave that binds targets hit. It is able to send out 3 blasts by raising its level. The Brave Note skill gives allies around you and your amp a buff to increase damage. Reverb Heal is a skill that sends out a sound wave that heals allies. Targeted skills like this can increase their area of effect by hitting your amp. The Breakdown skill slams your guitar into enemies. Pressing the skill button again lets you perform a swing that can be charged. Medical Chord sends out a sound wave that gives allies a buff that decreases damage taken and increases healing. Audio Aggression places an amp at target location and damages enemies in the area. Pressing the skill button again creates a damaging field around the amp. Rooter Song creates a buff area around you and your amp at a set interval that increases damage done and decreases damage taken. By pressing the skill button again during the intervals, it creates an additional buff area that decreases damage taken. Stun Wave sends out a sound wave that stuns enemies. Hitting your amp increases the area of effect. Halcyon Note creates a healing area around you and your amp at a set interval. The last hit applies a HP regeneration buff to allies. Solid Gain places an amp at target location that gives allies in the area a super armor and a decreased damage taken buff. When using skills that place amps like this, it is possible to press a direction button and step in that direction. Spirit Charge gives you a buff that increases the rate your class gauge fills up. The Calm Lullaby skill places an amp at target location and puts enemies in the area to sleep. Breaking Beat damages enemies in the area around you and your amp at a set interval. Pressing the skill button again at the same time the skill damage occurs allows you to deal additional damage to enemies. The Beat Performer has a unique class gauge called the Beat Gauge. This gauge increases by hitting attacks and skills amplified by your amp. Once your gauge reaches max, it is possible to enter a high spirit state. In the high spirit state, your attacks and skills get buffed, with such benefits like your skill range and damage being increased. During this time, your gauge will slowly decrease, so you want to try to do as much as possible before it runs out. The Beat Performer's ultimate skill is called Cadenza. While performing a song, you, in order, damage enemies, then heal allies, and then provide increased damage dealt, reduced damage taken buff to targets in area around you and your amp. What do you think of the Beat Performer class? Let me know in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching. Later.